In the heart of an untouched woodland, a camera was set up with the simple mission to capture the daily life of the forest. This wasn't just any forest. It was a sprawling expanse of wilderness that had remained largely undisturbed by human hands for centuries. This amazing project was spearheaded by Alex Lang, a dedicated conservationist whose passion for wildlife preservation was matched only by his curiosity about nature's hidden patterns. On what seemed like an ordinary Tuesday morning, Alex sat in the makeshift office at the edge of this vast forest, sifting through hours of uneventful footage captured by cameras strategically mounted on tree trunks. These cameras were part of a larger research initiative to document wildlife patterns. Positioned along narrow trails and near water sources, they were made to offer insights into the behaviors of various species inhabiting the area. The team predicted sightings of deer, fox families, or perhaps the occasional predator, common inhabitants of such remote forests. However, the reality of their findings turned out to be far more mundane than thrilling. Bears foraging, owls silently swooping between trees. These were the usual clips that filled most of the footage. Alex's opinions on the project oscillated almost daily. On one hand, he cherished the opportunity to witness nature thriving without human interference, a rare spectacle in today's world. Yet, on the other hand, the repetitive nature of the footage could be mind-numbingly dull. When he first joined the team, Alex hoped to capture something extraordinary, a rare flower blooming, a near-extinct animal making a comeback, or even some unknown ecological phenomenon. But luck hadn't been on his side until that fateful morning at exactly 7:42 a.m., when everything changed. As Alex reviewed the latest batch of footage, a particular video caught his attention. It showed a narrow path surrounded by gnarled trees, the soft hum of wind whispering through dense foliage where sunlight splintered into slanted rays through thick, overhanging branches. This forgotten wood was haunting in its silence, shadows dancing eerily due to the hazy light barely breaking through. Then, from the left side of the frame, a figure appeared. A woman. Her sudden presence sent shockwaves through Alex, who nearly fell off his chair in disbelief. The woman emerged like a specter from the thickets, her pale hair stark against the dark forest backdrop. She wore what looked like a black leotard or swimsuit, an outfit bizarrely out of place in such surroundings. Her arms hung limply by her sides, head tilted slightly downward as if moving on autopilot. She didn't glance at the camera but walked straight ahead, vanishing into the shadows at the far edge of the frame. The scene was reminiscent of something from a horror movie, leaving Alex acutely aware of his solitude in the office that day. He leaned closer to the screen, his heart racing. There was no trail near that spot, no reason for anyone to be there. Throughout their research, encounters with humans were so rare that Alex could count them on one hand, and those individuals were always better equipped for a walk in an isolated forest than this mysterious woman. As she moved further into the frame, she paused momentarily, turning her head as if she'd heard something behind her. Yet, the camera captured nothing else, just the empty, eerily quiet forest. Alex rewound and replayed the footage multiple times, each viewing sending chills up his spine. Something about her felt inherently wrong, not necessarily dangerous or aggressive, but unsettling nonetheless. Her strange appearance, the way she moved, and the fact that she appeared seemingly out of nowhere, all these elements unsettled him deeply. Despite his efforts to remain rational, dismissing the possibility of her being a lost hiker due to her attire, an unease curdled in his gut. Every time he saw her on the replayed footage, goosebumps covered his arms. This discovery was too significant for Alex to handle alone. He knew someone else needed to see this footage. Sharing it with his boss, Maria Jenkins, marked the beginning of a chain reaction that would soon captivate the entire world. Within hours, the clip made its way to local authorities, and within days, It exploded across social media platforms, igniting a firestorm of conspiracy theories and speculation. The eerie image of the pale woman drew millions of views, setting forums and news outlets ablaze with theories ranging from hoaxes to urban legends about ghosts and forests. Authorities took the footage seriously, verifying its authenticity and confirming there was no tampering or tricks involved. What Alex had seen was indeed legitimate. Somewhere out in that vast forest was a real lady, though her identity remained a mystery. For Alex, disbelief in ghosts did little to quell the unease stirred by the footage. Each night, he found himself scrolling through hundreds of comments online, unable to resist the pull of the unfolding drama. His refusal to return to the office alone underscored the depth of his discomfort, insisting instead that they should all work in pairs given the unknown secrets the forest might still be hiding. Search teams were dispatched into the forest, meticulously combing the area for clues. Yet, despite their exhaustive efforts, no trace of the woman could be found. No footprints, no belongings, nothing. It was as if she had vanished back into the trees. Even though the footage had shocked the entire world, not one theory mentioned a name. Surely someone out there had to recognize her defining features, someone who loved and cared enough to identify her. That moment finally came when Reynolds stepped forward during a live news broadcast, claiming the woman in the footage was his younger sister Emily, missing for 4 years. A world gripped by mystery. When the footage of the mysterious woman surfaced, it didn't take long for the story to explode across social media platforms. In an age where viral content spreads faster than wildfire, the eerie image of the pale woman captured global attention within hours. Platforms like TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter became hotbeds of discussion, with hashtags like #ForestWoman and #EmilyFound trending worldwide. The video, shared endlessly and dissected frame by frame, drew millions of views, sparking debates and wild speculations among users. From amateur sleuths to seasoned conspiracy theorists, everyone had a theory about the woman's identity and how she ended up in the forest. News outlets, eager to capitalize on the public's insatiable appetite for mysteries, ran endless segments on the story. Major networks dedicated prime-time slots to interviews with experts, psychologists, and even self-proclaimed paranormal investigators. Some claimed the footage was a hoax, suggesting it was a publicity stunt or performance art gone awry. Others whispered about urban legends involving spirits haunting ancient woods, drawing parallels to folklore from different cultures. Despite the multitude of theories, none fit cleanly, leaving people hungry for answers. Amidst the chaos of rampant speculation, authorities took the footage seriously. Forensic analysts scrutinized every pixel, confirming the authenticity of the video. There was no tampering, no digital manipulation. What Alex had seen was indeed valid. This revelation only deepened the intrigue, prompting a surge in search efforts. Helicopters buzzed overhead, drones scoured every clearing, and specialized teams ventured into the remotest parts of the forest. Yet, despite their best efforts, days passed without progress. No sign of human life emerged from the dense woods, and the mystery of how the woman had survived for so long only grew thicker. For Alex, the overwhelming response to the footage was both fascinating and unnerving. Each night, he found himself drawn into the vortex of online discussions, scrolling through hundreds of comments. Theories ranged from plausible to outright absurd, but one thing was clear: the internet was obsessed. Some suggested Emily had been kidnapped and held captive, managing to escape only to lose herself in the vast forest. Others posited she had deliberately wandered off, seeking solace from a troubled world. A few even accused Carl of knowing more than he let on, fueling further controversy. Despite the noise, Alex couldn't shake the image of the woman from his mind. Her ghostly figure haunted him, compelling him to dig deeper. He began studying the video frame by frame, cross-referencing it with other camera footage scattered throughout the area. Determined to uncover the truth, Alex identified a key location where the footage might have been taken, a nearly invisible path, overgrown and hidden from casual observers. Armed with this new information, he decided to retrace her steps, driven by a mix of curiosity and a sense of duty to find her. As Alex prepared for his solo expedition into the forest, the world continued to speculate wildly. Social media influencers weighed in, adding their own dramatic twists to the narrative. Meanwhile, Carl maintained his steadfast belief that the woman in the footage was indeed his sister, Emily. His emotional plea resonated with many, cutting through the cacophony of conspiracy theories and reminding everyone of the human element at the heart of the story. A brother desperate to reunite with his long-lost sibling. A breakthrough in the wilderness. Determined to solve the enigma that had gripped the world, Alex embarked on a solitary journey into the depths of the forest. Guided by the meticulous analysis of the footage, he retraced the steps of the mysterious woman, piecing together her path through the dense underbrush. The trail was nearly invisible, obscured by years of unchecked growth. But Alex pressed on, driven by an unwavering resolve to uncover the truth. His determination was fueled not just by professional curiosity, but also by a deep-seated empathy for the woman and her brother, Carl, whose heartfelt plea had struck a chord with him. As Alex navigated the labyrinthine paths, memories of the chilling footage played repeatedly in his mind. He remembered the eerie silence captured in the video, the haunting stillness of the forest that seemed almost sentient. This recollection spurred him forward, each step bringing him closer to the elusive clearing he had identified from the footage. The journey was arduous. Branches clawed at his clothes, and the uneven terrain tested his endurance. Yet, the image of the woman, her pale hair contrasting sharply against the dark backdrop, remained etched in his thoughts, urging him onward. The relentless search had drained every ounce of strength from Alex, but as he finally stumbled into the clearing, his breath hitched. There it was, the shack. Weathered by time, its wooden exterior sagged beneath layers of moss and decay, as though the forest itself had tried to reclaim it. The sight sent a ripple of unease through him. This place felt untouched, yet burdened with a presence, a history he couldn't yet grasp. His pulse hammered as he stepped forward, boots crunching on damp leaves. Every instinct screamed at him to turn back, but he pushed on, driven by the hope, no, the desperate need, to find answers. Reaching the door, his hand hovered over the rusted handle. One push and everything would change. Steeling himself, he exhaled and shoved the door open. A dim glow filtered through warped wooden slats, illuminating dust dancing in the air. The room was nearly barren, just an old chair and a pile of tattered blankets in the corner. And then he saw her. A frail figure sat hunched on the ground, her tangled blonde hair matted with dirt. She didn't stir. Alex swallowed hard. "Emily?" His voice barely broke a whisper. No response. Heart pounding, he knelt beside her, hesitating before gently resting a hand on her shoulder. She flinched violently, twisting toward him. Wide, glassy eyes locked onto his, flickering with recognition beneath layers of fear and forgotten time. A lump rose in his throat. "You're safe now." Tears burned his eyes as he watched something shift in her expression, a fragile spark of life. He fumbled for his phone, praying for a signal. The world had waited 4 years for this moment, and now the forest had finally given up its secret. Reunion and recovery. Emily Reynolds' rescue marked the beginning of a difficult but hopeful journey. As news of her discovery spread, the world watched, eager to understand how she had survived alone in the forest for 4 years. Physically, she was frail, malnourished, dehydrated, and deeply traumatized. Doctors worked to stabilize her, but they knew her mental recovery would be an even greater challenge. During initial evaluations, Emily shared fragmented memories of her time in the wilderness. She recalled wandering aimlessly, consumed by an invisible force that kept her tethered to the forest. Though she struggled to explain it, experts suspected her deteriorating mental state played a role. Medical records revealed she had battled depression and anxiety before vanishing, having stopped her prescribed medication. The isolation of the woods may have worsened her condition, leaving her trapped in both body and mind. Investigators searched the shack where she was found, hoping for answers. The structure had been abandoned for decades, offering little beyond foraged remnants of food and tattered blankets. There were no clear signs of long-term habitation or outside interference. Some theorized she had entered the forest following a breakdown or accident, becoming lost. Others speculated she had escaped captivity, but was unable to find her way back. For Carl Reynolds, her brother, the reunion was overwhelming. When he saw her in the hospital, his heart swelled with relief and sorrow. Holding her hand, he promised she was safe now. At that moment, for the first time, her eyes held a spark of recognition. As Emily slowly regained her strength, Carl remained by her side, determined to help her heal. Their bond, tested by time and tragedy, became the foundation of her recovery, a testament to love, resilience, and the enduring power of family. Reflections and new beginnings. As the chaos surrounding Emily's rescue faded, Alex found himself drawn back to the forest, not out of obligation, but gratitude. Once just a setting for his conservation work, the wilderness had become a place of resilience and redemption. It had returned Emily to her family, and in doing so, changed him as well. Each visit deepened his appreciation for its untamed beauty and the mysteries it held. He often marveled at the improbability of it all, how a single camera frame had led to such a profound outcome. Was it mere chance, or had Emily, in some way, wanted to be found? The experience reshaped Alex's perspective, reinforcing his belief in perseverance and empathy. As he walked among the towering trees, he felt at peace. The forest had given him a story to tell, one of survival, hope, and the unseen connections that bind us all. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you soon.